Hey everybody, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2. It's a fill-in episode, and I'll tell you about that as we get rolling. I missed you. I couldn't not record. Yeah, so we're in a Renault T. I'll tell you how we ended up in this rig, but we're in a Renault T. We're at a Mercedes dealer in Geneva. We're gonna go pick up copper gutters, copper downspouts, something. And we're gonna take it to that cargo to Lyon. And we've also got, there's no skin, I'll tell you about that too. There's no skin, and we're running, this is from the Krona DLC, the Krona trailer DLC. Yep, I think that's everything. Okay, so we hop in here, fire up like so, lights are already on, brake is off, brake is on. I need to very carefully, there we go, brake is off. I need to very carefully reach over and get that because I don't have a keyboard on my gaming laptop. Well, I don't have an external keyboard. I just have the keyboard in the laptop, naturally. But I have to swing my arm way over my desk. I got to make a long arm to get to that keyboard. And I'll tell you about that too. So yeah, I decided this is a bit of a throwback. We are recording right now, and we're gaming right now, and we're recording on the rig that I started when I got my first gaming PC. It's a laptop. And I got it almost 3 years ago. And I gamed on it for 2 years. And that was what I recorded the first 2 years of videos on. And then last December, I got it's more proper. It's not fully proper, but it's more proper. I got a tower. And that is down right now. It is, as we speak, it is arriving in Texas to be repaired. And I'll tell you about that too as we get rolling. But I thought, let's do an episode. And I also wanted to compare. Now, I kept this laptop that we're on right now, I kept it current. It's got Steam installed on it. It's only got a few games installed on it, but I kept it current, drivers as far as updates to all the games and everything as a backup, but also because I wanted to be able to compare. And so right now, let's get down to neutral and pick up our job carefully. Another long arm. So we go here, and we are hauling, what are we hauling? Copper roof gutters, 8 tons of them. Fantastic. And we're taking these to Lyon. Here we go. Let's go third person. I wanted to compare, and I think that's going to be a lot of what we talk about today as we're rolling is perspective, and life, because we talk about stuff other than gaming as we're driving the truck. And this has been, past few days have really been an opportunity for me to explore perspective a little bit, and kind of think about stuff, various. So, as always, gaming news. We start with gaming news. No word yet on Colorado and Iberia, but I continue to assume that will be released with 1.39 sometime this fall. And then for me, within the next week or so, we've got WRC 8 releasing on Steam. Not going to get it unless it's really a super discount. And WRC 9 releasing on the Epic Game Store. And then, I want to say a few days later, Ride 4 releasing on Steam. Carefully. And then next month, early next month, first week of October, we're getting Dirt 5. And we'll see. I mean, I'm looking at Dirt 5, it does seem to be a bit more arcade. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hope I don't clip this other trailer. I think we're going to clear it, but then we got to reef this thing way over hard. Try to get it in one swing. Yeah, I think we're going to make it. So those are the titles that I'm looking forward to. I'll straighten her out a little bit here. Those are the titles that I'm looking forward to and carefully concentrating. And then I believe we're going to have another little bit of a gap, and then we'll see what happens in November as far as titles that are being released for the holidays. Right. Lights off. Set the brake. Engine off. And let's get loaded up here. Give me the copper roof gutters. Beautiful. And it is, sun's almost up now, so I think we can skip the lights.
Let's go.
So we'll fire back up here. Hop back in here. I'm going to drop the lift axle on the truck. I'm going to raise the lift axle on the trailer till we get out of town. Brake is off, and I think we can just go out the way we came in. and then it's going to be out and to the left. But we got to swing a mighty 180 here. But we can do it. You can't get out. Yeah, you can only get out on this side, so we got to do it this way. Right, so that's all I've got for gaming. And so the story, what had happened was, Sunday, I was playing a little Train Simulator 2, which is, the best way I can describe it is if that game dropped out of the sky, if we had no TSW 2020, and that game just fell from the sky, and that was our first experience with a train simulator, I think we would love it. And it is, I have to say, a good game as a standalone. But in the context of the promises and the hype and all the disappointment from Train Sim World 2020, all the things that were promised that never arrived, all the bugs that never got fixed, in that context, it is kind of a big disappointment. When they test customer satisfaction with cars, one of the brands that has the lowest customer satisfaction rating is Range Rover. And it's not so much because they're unreliable or anything. All cars, nearly all cars, are pretty reliable in 2020. Carefully. It's because they're so expensive and people's expectations are so high, right? So if the door doesn't make the right sound when it closes, the kind of person who buys a Range Rover is a little disappointed by that. Or if the heat seaters don't heat up quickly enough, right? So I think a lot of it comes down to, a Range Rover is certainly going to get you from point A to point B reasonably reliably. Maybe not as reliable as like a Toyota or something, but it'll do the job. And yet people are disappointed. And I think we as gamers sometimes fall into that same trap where this sim or this game is, it's technically checking all the boxes, and at the same time, I don't know, it's just kind of, it's not really doing it for me. But it is only our expectations and the promises of the developer that cause it to be that way. And while there's no traffic here, I'm going to very quickly reach over one last time. Stand by. And sticking on, I have to snake my arm like around microphones and steering wheels and reach all the way across my desk without bumping anything to get to the keyboard on my laptop to get the windows up. So that's the sim that I was in, and it is, for looking the way it does, it is actually pretty demanding, and it does run my system pretty hot. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Hey, if anybody listening or watching right now works for HP, let's just keep this between ourselves. Anything I'm about to tell you, let's keep it on the low. So it was running a little bit hot, and it just stopped. It stopped in the way that it stops when there's a power failure. Like everything just went black. And I thought, there's been a power failure. That sucks. I hate when that happens because everything shuts down hot. Normally I cool my systems down before I turn them off. And so when there is a power cut, I don't have an uninterruptible power source. So if there is a power cut, which is very infrequent, but if it does happen, then whatever system I'm on, if I'm gaming, it shuts down hot. I don't like that, but it happens. Periodically it happens. That's how it shut off. And then I realized that everything else was still on. Like my desk lamp was on, the power light on my wheel, everything else that is on the surge protector that tower is plugged into was still on. So not a power cut. So I thought maybe it was a thermal shutdown, right? Like one of the breakers triggered safety. So I let it cool down for about half an hour and absolutely dead. And I thought, well, maybe power source, right? Which is fine because I wanted to upgrade the power source anyway. So I went and got a new power source and got that put in. Didn't take that long. Took about, maybe 15 minutes. And it's a proprietary system. It's a pre-built system. So, of course, all the wiring in the system is designed to work with itself, to be itself, essentially. And so I had to really get creative with the routing for the power source that I got because the routing channels in the cabinet were obviously designed only for the power source that was spec'd to that unit. So it was a little, but I got it in there and of course it didn't fire up. So I called tech support. I did a CMOS on my own. I did a Windows B restart on my own. Nothing. No lights, no fans, no post, no nothing. So it's motherboard. It's either motherboard or CPU or both. And I don't know, because I couldn't get any type of response at all. I had assumed initially that power source went and took everything with it, but I don't know that that's the case now. I think the power source might possibly even be okay. But I did speak to warranty, and they said, yeah, go ahead and send it back, and we will swap that out for you. It's under warranty. Whatever's wrong with it, we'll fix it, and you'll be good to go. So there's some type of drama, excitement happening outside my condo. Hope that's not too loud for you. So yeah, that was good news to hear. The only problem was that I'd made some upgrades to the system since I got it, and I needed to remove those upgrades before I sent it back. The main one is I put liquid cooling on it because it's a i9 9700 in a micro ATX cabinet, so it runs really hot. It was running really hot. It came with an air cooling tower from the store, and I deemed that to be inadequate, so I put a liquid cooling system on it. It took about 10 to 15 degrees centigrade off my peak temperatures. Felt really good about that. But we're in a loop now, and I'm curious to see what happens. I'm expecting a call today from Texas to tell me either the defective parts, the bad parts have been replaced and it is on its way back to you, or CID, and CID is customer-induced damage. Now, I'm a goddamn Picasso of thermal paste, so hopefully the way I got it put back together, I did put the air cooling tower back on, and hopefully the way I put it back on there will be able to sail right through the repair techs and they won't notice anything or have any problems with it. But I'm preparing myself mentally to get the call saying, this is, you did this. Which is, it's frustrating in a way, because the reason I put the liquid cooling on is because it was running so hot with the air cooling tower. The alternative would have been to leave the air cooling tower on until it burned up, because running at 85 to 95 degrees, it's going to burn up. You are going to roast your CPU at those temperatures. So had I just allowed the system to continue operating as it came from the factory, when it inevitably burned up, then I would have sent it back to them to be fixed anyway. So I don't see any difference, but I understand they have policies and procedures. And when I spoke to customer service, they actually got it, I guess, for lack of a better word. And they were like, yeah, it's cool. There's no problem putting a liquid cooler on there, other than when it gets to the service center, because that unit is never sold with liquid cooling. The techs don't have a page in their manual. Well, it's not a page like a paper page, but it's a tablet they flip through. It's not going to have a procedure for it. And even though anybody who knows anything about computers is going to be able to work their way through removing that part that it isn't supposed to be there, they can't do it that way. They can't sort of get creative like that. They can only do authorized repairs. So I put it all back the way it was. I sent it back, and I should get it Monday. So we'll see. Now, if it does need a repair that they want me to pay for, what I'm going to do is tell them, just send it back to me. Oh, close. Just send it back to me, and I will get an MSI or an ASRock or something. I will get my own motherboard for micro ATX, and we'll just start building on that cabinet. And that may or may not be a good idea. Reason being, because again, it's proprietary. Even though an MSI or an ASRock or whatever, even though it may technically fit that cabinet, nothing is really going to work, right? The fan is going to be in the wrong place. The RAM is going to bump this. It's just, proprietary systems are designed to work with themselves. So in the meantime, I am very likely going to, probably this afternoon, go get another tower. And I'm looking at an AMD, I want to say it's a 3700. I don't know anything about AMD processors, but it is, I want to say, an AMD 3700 with an RTX 2070 Super, which would be a step up from the system that I have now. That would become the primary system, and then the system that is being repaired right now, when it got back, would be the backup system. I don't have a second monitor, but even if I did, I don't have room in my office for an entire other rig. So the monitor that I have now that I use with the tower that's being repaired will go on the AMD system. And the other system, when it comes back repaired, will just essentially go in the closet and be on standby in case we ever have a problem like this again. So all these systems, the gaming laptop that I'm on right now, the tower that is being repaired, and the tower that I am thinking of going to get this afternoon, they are all Hewlett-Packard Omen products. And I realized, well, I know a lot of people, the idea of buying a pre-built computer is like, what are you, some kind of an idiot? Why would you do that? You're not getting exactly what you want, and they're generally built with the lowest quality parts possible. Yep, I know. It's easier. It's simple. I don't necessarily have a place to build a computer. I don't necessarily have the tools to build a computer right now, and I like that warranty. So that is, I mean, I did go to PC Parts Picker and sort of lay out a system comparable to what I'm looking at, and minus the labor, if I put it together myself, it'd be, I don't know, a couple $100 cheaper. So that's a possibility, you know, and also we could get away from the micro ATX towers and get into a full-size ATX, and that's going to solve a lot of heat management problems. So that's a possibility as well, but I think for now I'm just going to go pre-built one last time, and then the next system after this, next year sometime, we will build it ourselves. So that's what's going on there. But it's nice to be back on this laptop, which is an i7 7700. A little bit heavy on the brakes right there. It's an i7 7700 with a GTX 1050. It's an economy system. I mean, there's no way to describe it as anything but an economy system. But we're on, all of our settings right now are high, not ultra. And our scaling is at 200%. I think the game looks okay. Doesn't look as good as the other system, but it looks okay. It's certainly adequate. And we're capturing at 4K, 60 FPS, so hopefully the render looks okay. But this is nice for a little bit of perspective. And again, you know, like I was saying earlier, it's very easy to lose perspective. And not just as a gamer, but as a human being, as a man, as a citizen of the planet. I always want to have good perspective, and I always want to be a good, I don't know, a good person, and keep things balanced, and realize that as frustrating as this has been the past few days, it's just pixels, man. It's just pixels. With everything that's going on with COVID, there are people around the world dealing with some really serious things right now, and I'm not. I don't have kids, so I haven't had to deal with any of the school stuff. Well, for one thing, I haven't had to worry about my kids getting sick. My parents are gone, so I'm not worried about them. And I've worked from home for several years, so the idea of, you know, being home or being sort of, I don't know, on lockdown, quarantine, whatever, that hasn't been a big deal for me either. But I know for a lot of people, it really has been a big deal. So if the worst thing that happened to me this week was I had to temporarily game on a 1050 laptop instead of a 1660 Ti tower that's going to be repaired or replaced for free and be back hopefully Monday. And even that's not good enough for me, so I'm going to go get another tower today so I can get some things loaded up over the weekend in case there are any problems with the repair. That's really not something to complain about or be upset about. And I have to remind myself of that. You know, it's easy to lose perspective. It really, really is. And that's, for me, I guess that's maybe a sign that I'm finally growing up. I didn't grow up when I was a kid. I grew up after I was not a kid anymore. That's the way it works out sometimes. But try to grow up at all. So that's what's going on there. Why are we in this truck? I built this profile kind of a while ago, I think for 1.37, and I only used it once or twice. And it's, in that way, it's sort of a disposable profile. It's also a Steam Cloud save, which made it accessible on, when I loaded up Steam on the laptop, it was in there. And my other save games on the tower, of course, they're not accessible because they're on the hard drives in the tower. So this is what we had, and I was able to, there were a few mods that didn't carry over because they were on hard drive as well. Everything else came in from I'm blanking out, the Steam Workshop. Everything else came in from the Steam Workshop, so I had access to all those mods. But, of course, skins were on my hard drive, so we did not have those. Let's go third person and get this thing backed in. And we've gone 20 minutes. Yeah, like I said, I missed you, so let's pick up another job. and then we'll take it to half an hour and you pull over for fuel or something, and we'll call it right there. So, yep, that's what's going on. And I'm trying to think, anything else? Nope, I think that's about it. Let's get dropped off here. Let's get another cargo picked up, and I'll tell you about one other thing that I've been thinking about this week as well. And we got into our first pickup point in one swing, and I think, don't jinx it, we might get into this one as well. It's a goddamn Christmas miracle is what it is. All right. So right in here, like so. Beautiful. So we're going to go back to neutral. We're going to set the brake. I need to lean into my microphone to do that. And so we have a little ASMR. All right. So get back out here. Engine is off. There we go. Let's unload and see how we did. All right. There we go. And if we go back here, let's go to job market. Job market, I said. There we go. And cargo market. Let's see if we can find something from Lyon to... You want to head down south? Yeah, let's go down to the coast. And so we want to go Strasbourg. That's up north. Marseille. That's what we're looking for. You want to take some olives to Marseille? I mean, we're not going to take them, but let's go pick them up. And that is going from there. So we'll go in here. No, not there. Here. Get this fired up. And we have no GPS. And that typically means that it is right in front of us. So we will go over here. And how are we doing on fuel? About a half tank. So we go right here. Back to neutral. Right, like so. Yep. Picking up where we dropped off. I love it. So we'll take this job. And then we'll go third person. And we just need to sort of pivot over one slot. So here's something else about pre-built versus building your own. And the idea of brand loyalty in PC world. Hewlett-Packard does not build their own computers. Nobody does, including Apple. But one thing Apple does do is they at least design their own computers. But HP, Dell, Acer, Asus, Lenovo, all those companies, they just put specifications out for bid. RFQ, RFP. And people design a system around that. And I'm talking about everything. The size of the cabinet, the shape of the cabinet, everything. They design it. They put together a quote for it. If you buy 500,000 of these, it's going to cost you this, it's going to cost you that. And they send them to those companies to be reviewed. So we'll go here. All right, set the brake. So my HP elements that I play, my laptop, the tower that I have, the tower that I'm getting, none of them were built by, none of them were even, center of the camera, designed by HP. And there's a joke about, it's more in the United States versus overseas. But in the United States, if you like a team, if you like a professional sports team, really you just like the uniform. Because the players come and go, the coaches come and go, the owners come and go. They can even move to a different city, right? You're still a fan. So really you're just kind of a fan of the name. Sometimes they get a different name, right? Houston Texans became the Tennessee Titans. The Quebec Nordiques became the Colorado Avalanche. There are some people that stayed with those teams as they went to new cities and got new names. Hang on, I'm going to put windows up carefully. Right, like so. I think we're about to get dinged. Yep. I knew it. So when I think about the loyalty that I have to HP Omen, first off, it's not really loyalty. I was looking at Alienware systems. I was looking at PC Parts Picker. I was looking at iBuyPower. I was looking at all kinds of systems. And I think I will probably go with the Omen system one more time. But as far as real loyalty, no, not really. And you can't even say, well, they've always treated me right. Now, they have treated me right. And it's not just Omen. Before I was gaming, I was all about HP laptops and towers for productivity and office work. And for me, they have been very reliable. And I know plenty of other people can say exactly the opposite. Oh, they suck. They're very unreliable. I'm not disagreeing with you. I know that having good luck with a product of that type is luck as much as anything else, because again, they're made in different factories by different subcontractors. It's not really an HP product. You don't even know who made it. So I get that my loyalty to a specific brand of PC it's not quite fanboy, but it's in the neighborhood. And so just to clarify, my loyalty is not really loyalty. It's just kind of a habit, I guess, more than anything else. Now, how they take care of me on warranty, that is something that I think is unique to a company. And if they're able to get this sorted out and get the system, they overnighted the box to me. I overnighted the unit to them. Okay, we got both lanes going here. I overnighted the unit to them, and they're supposed to overnight it back. So if the repair gets done today, and it's possible that I would have it tomorrow. I'm supposed to get it Monday. We'll see. But that warranty aspect, if they can nail that, that would really be like feather in the cap as far as, impressing me. Are we going over here? We're not exiting, are we? We are not exiting. Okay. So if they can pull that off, I would be impressed. But that has nothing to do with the hardware or the system itself. That is more on the corporate side. So if there's anything about HP that could impress me, it would be how they handle this warranty. So we'll see. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's why we're in this truck. Gaming perspective, I think that's it. And we're getting to a toll booth. Well, we are in France. We're getting to a toll booth here, and then we're getting to, I believe, a place where we can pull over. I don't need to sleep, but we can. Can I go through all the way over here? Do we have a green arrow? No, I think we have an X. Let's go through here, and I might be able to. Yep, we're gonna need to kind of crank it to the left there. But I think we can get over into that little parking lot. We'll call it right there. And we're at 28 minutes right now. So by the time we get pulled over, hopefully, maybe, we'll be at 30. All right, start a toll road. Beautiful. There we go. So now, the sound, I really like what they've done with Fmod, but I feel like there are a lot of areas, like geographical areas of the map, that they still need to polish. And they did mention, they sort of addressed the fact that the sound can pop in and out too abruptly. There's no fade whatsoever. It's just, it snaps on and snaps off. And I find that to be not a super realistic detail. Like when you're going under an overpass or something, in real life, your vehicle does get louder for a moment, but it sort of fades in and fades out very quickly. It doesn't snap on and off. Right. So if we go out here then, 29 minutes. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2. We'll see you next time. Take care now.